your substitutes. Number 42, Patrick Kyle, center. Number 21, Jeremy Fry. Number 33, Jacob Clifton. Number 8, Trey Porter. Your managers, Mark Carucci, Joey Gonzalez, and Brandon Miller. Those are your Smoky Mountain Stars. Also not on the lineup, Steele Lewis.
I probably couldn't do it now.
And here are your Smoky Mountain legends. Batting first, the catcher, number 9, Josh Riley. Batting second, the first baseman, number 23, Kyle Pearson. Hitting third, the right fielder, number 03, Andrew Collins. Hitting fourth, an extra hitter, 35, Ryan Harvey. Hitting fifth, the left fielder, number 9, Jason Matusik. Hitting sixth, the second baseman, number 7, Greg Connell. Hitting seventh, middle infielder, number 25, Bubba Mack. Number 8, hitting 8, the third baseman, number 07, John Williams. Hitting 9th, the pitcher, number 8, Travis Clark. Hitting 10th, center fielder, number 8, Josh Kirsten. Number 11, the shortstop, number 14, Kevin Bazak. Your extra players, number 5, number 30, Jeremy Yates. Number 29, Jason Magnum. Number 51, Pete Barnes.
Yes, sir.
Number 15, Kyle Pearson. And number 11, Bill Pinkham. Your coaches, managers. Number 44, Brett Hilmer. Number 23, Tim Barnes. And number 77, Steve Hildebrand. Ladies and gentlemen, your Smoky Mountain legend. Now, ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand? Gentlemen, remove your caps, head coverings. And from the gate, here is Shelley Vance to perform our national anthem.
Center field. One in the backyard.
Great. Got this. Oh, say what?
Test.
Okay. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light was so proudly beheld at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright street. And the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Great job, Shelly.
All right, everybody, welcome to USSSA Live. This is the Conference Cares All-Star Game. We are going to have the USSSA All-Stars versus the USSSA Legends. Looks like the USSSA Legends here are going to be in the field, and the All-Stars will be hitting first. And we also have a special guest here in the booth with me today, softball legend. Most of us know him as the Big Cat, Mike Mashako. Mike, let me know that you got us and that you're here.
I'm here, Eric. My pleasure to be here.
Yep, thank you for joining us here. And we got the lineups here in case you're just joining us. Let me pull that up here and go through it quick. Coming up first here, we'll go through the Conference All-Stars in case you missed the announcement with the broadcaster there. Batting first, Phil Matt, JoJo Bennett, Bradley Jones, Tyler Irvine, Tyler Marshburn, Daniel Caton, Austin Daw, Ryan Honeycutt. Then 9th says unknown. I can't think of who was in that spot. We'll figure it out as we go. 10th spot pitcher Rod Armour, and 11th is center fielder Austin Andrews. So Phil Matt stepping in the box here. Big Cat, let
I
us.
believe this is going to be an exciting game.
Yeah, we should be fun here. We see the pitching screen. Nobody wants to get hurt. Phil Matt leads it off. Middle infielder Bubba Mack throws it across. That will be one down. We should see some big bombs in this one before. Me and Mike were just talking about it. They are using a slightly different ball here at this year's Smoky Mountain Classic. We tested it at the Toys for Tots this year, and I was there. Ball was pretty live, so all weekend long you should see a bunch of big bombs. JoJo Bennett, first pitch swinging there as well, going to get down to right center. Out to the fence, looks like he's going to cruise into second with a double. So Big Cat, let us know, how much are you following softball these days?
Well, I follow the conference here. I try to follow it every weekend. I really enjoy the way that it's way that the players are playing and the whole game, the whole concept of it. I think it's the best thing in softball. USSSA conference softball. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah, for sure. You're lucky enough to see multiple generations of softball, and we'll get to it here after the Bradley Jones at bat. But you'd have a better perception, but the talent looks incredible today, even though it's a totally different game. So I mean, would you say it's something that's tough to compare today's game with games of yesteryear, 80s and 90s?
Yeah, me myself, I really don't try to compare the games. I think they're both great games. The bottom line is more runs beats less runs, right? So the game is still played the same today as it was back in 1970.
Yeah.
And the technology has it's the way the world, the way America works is always trying to improve on the next product, the next bat, the next ball. So I feel the game is just as important, just the same as it was years ago. It's a different game as far as speed, but you're not going to come out here and lollygag around with the speed of the balls come off these bats and some of these guys. These guys are tremendous hitters, and they're like I don't know. It's like they're wielding a sword. They're able to do some magnificent things with these bats and balls today.
They are, as we see Tyler Marshburn there getting into one. Bradley Jones drew the walk. Irvine with a 2-run homer. We just saw Tyler getting into that one. That's going to give us Daniel Caton here.
Oh yeah, Daniel Caton. He's one heck of a player. He's not that real big of a guy, but he can sure hit him just like anybody else. Yes. Yes.
Yep, Caton. It can certainly be argued that Caton is the best all-around player in the game today. But I would say top 3 at worst, personally. Awesome.
Oh yeah,
job.
I've been in some conversations where guys, bring his name up and talk about how good he is, and I never really got a chance to watch him too much. And the more I watch the conference play, the more I get to see him play. And yes, he's a phenomenal ball player.
Yeah, he is on both sides. So this is 8th hitter Ryan Honeycutt now. I think we have, it's not updated on my end, I think we have 1 down.
Yeah, they got the screen out there. I was wondering about that, but like you said, you don't want anybody getting hurt in a great event like this, an all-star game. So they'll put it up there so the guys can swing away, and maybe their deepest home run or best shot is up the middle. So if you're pitching, get behind it.
Yeah, they did it for the women's game too. Where did they have it? Georgia, I think. The men's one got rained out there, but they had the women's game at Georgia and they did it. I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure if the pitchers would even want to do it. Do you want to pitch to these guys for fun in a game? In an all-star game that's for charity? Probably not. So it's a different kind of softball for sure. But I tend to agree with it. I would rather. I don't want to see any pitcher get hurt in an all-star game. Especially when you're already down at the Smokey, already spent the money to get there. And you don't want to get hurt away from home either. So I think it's the correct move here in this scenario.
Yeah, like I said, I was when I looked, I said, oh, they're going to go to the screen. So there's nothing wrong with that. Just play by the rules, get behind that screen, because sometimes. In certain types of leagues, when they use the screen, they'll throw it out in the field, and pitchers will try to use it to their advantage. And what I mean by that is they'll step off to the side, like the screen's here, and they want to stretch out as far as they can and pitch from like 5 feet, 6 feet away from the screen, like they're going to trick somebody. And you're not tricking anybody, because the ball is coming up there underhand. They're laying it up there to you, so you got the screen out there. Just throw it up there and definitely get behind it.
Yeah, for sure. And looks like Rod Armour pitching. Let me run through the Legends lineup here, as well as Rod's getting set. See if Josh's first pitch swinging here, so we can get the play call in. And he takes that one. Gonna be a little heavy.
I see Josh leading off here, and he leads off during the season for Rismondo.
Yes, he does. He's doing what he does best, getting into one there, way out to left field.
Yes,
but
very,
Josh,
very powerful hitter.
Yeah, he's absolutely incredible. Let me get through the lineup here. Josh Riley, Kyle Pearson, Andrew Collins, Ryan Harvey, Jason Matusik, Greg Cannell, Bubba Mack, Big John Williams, Travis Clark, Josh Kirsten, and Kevin Bazat. Kyle Pearson leading the conference this year in hitting as well, as he's going to get into that one. Back-to-back home runs to lead it off. I want to say Kyle is roughly 823, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Oh yeah, he's another fantastic hitter. There's a number of fantastic hitters that are playing in this conference today, and that's what you want to see. You want to see the best players here, and let them compete every weekend. There's nothing better.
No, I totally agree. Collins is going to sneak that one through.
I mean, like these first 4 hitters here, Pearson, Riley, Collins, and Harvey. I don't know, man. I would just say, hey, guys, walk to first base, count your runs, and go sit down.
I know Pearson as well. I know he already hit here, but I know Pearson was leading the country in OBP outside of home runs as well. definitely one of the best base hitters in the game. Is Ryan Harvey sending that one, just like Big Mike said here. Count your runs.
Exactly. I mean, that was an easy swing, and that was up, probably about 15, 20 feet in the trees.
Yep, the dimensions here too, for those that don't know, that this is a old high school baseball field, so this is not a small field by any means. Jason Matusik stepping in, I mean, right at the shortstop, throwing across, that'll be out. But the dimensions here real quick is 310 to left, 340 to left center, 350 to center, 336 right center, and 315 down the line. It's back-to-back Triple Crown winner Greg Cannell here. And he's going to chop that one at shortstop as well, thrown across, 2 down.
Yep, this ballpark has been here for, this is the 55th year that they're running a tournament, and so it's been here for, at least 55 years. So things really haven't changed that much over this field, from all these years of playing. And then I want to say, talking with Chris Clark, who's the Maryville Park and Rec's director, boss, we were talking about this not too long ago about the dimensions on the field, and they put new fencing in left field. They've done a number of things. They really got the place looking really nice. They do.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to go here last year for the 54th, and I thought the field looked pretty good and played well, especially for its age. And you obviously can't beat the environment, as Big John Williams stepping in here too. But what's the last year you got to go to a Smokey?
Well, me myself, well, I do. I came here 2 years ago with the Rismondo team.
Yep.
A good friend of mine is one of the sponsors, Jimmy Thurman from All American Restoration.
Yep.
So me and him came down here, and it was quite an experience. I hadn't been down for a few years to this event. I do my own in the senior circuit. I do a senior softball home run derby with RB and the ISSA Senior Softball Association. Been doing that about 6 years, so I get to come down here every year and reminisce with the same people from all these years, and it's like a homecoming. And the way that I came down 2 years ago, same thing. It rained. There were great games, but something happened that time that was different from all the other times. Was we ended up playing all through the night. I think it rained, and we started back around 10 o'clock. I've been here, I don't know how many times. We played all through the night, and the next morning at like 7 o'clock, we're still on the field. And I said, man, I should be bass fishing somewhere on a pond, and I'm sitting here playing softball. I'm not playing, but I'm watching. So 2 years ago, I was here with Rismondo, and it was just a great time, great atmosphere, the whole thing.
Yeah, you can't beat it for sure. I love how it feels like half the town is there too. They all come and set up their tents along the sides. In case you haven't seen a picture of that yet, go find one. They put it in the Maryville Times, which Mike reposted too. I got to get that article in here still. I didn't do that yet, but let me get that article in here and we'll show you a little preview of that. Mike shares that, but I mean, it's this event is such a big deal for the town. Even it's something that grabs the interest of everybody around, and the fans come and hang out, and there's food vendors. I had the beef jerky last year. I don't know if you had any of the beef jerky, but I love the beef jerky guy.
Yeah, they never have anything bad here. Your big pieces of pizza that are about 10 pounds a piece. You got jerky, you got cotton candy, so it's like going to the fair and then watching some tremendous softball in the middle of it.
There's Robert Blackburn leading it off here, gets a single up through the shortstop 5-man. Robert Blackburn, I'm sure you're familiar with him. Definitely, I preach him on the podcast on the broadcast here anytime I get the chance to see him. But him and Stephen Lloyd are 1A and 1B for me, all-time favorite players. Can't just have that tremendous 5 to 7 year stretch that was as good as anyone.
Oh yeah. He's not that big of a guy, yet he plays like he's about 6'6".
Yep.
those are the kind of guys that you really enjoy watching.
Yeah, absolutely. Rod Armour getting into one, getting two more here for the Smokey All-Star team. Rod flexing the muscles a little bit. I'm a huge fan of Rod too. I think he's he primetime plays A most years. I think they played Double A to start this year and got moved down now. But huge fan of Rod as well. You see him get a bomb in. Austin Andrews swinging for one here up to the left side. That one carries out of here as well. We're back to the top now with Phil Matt. What was the first? Go ahead.
No, is there? There's no home run rule in this, right?
No. This is
no
unlimited. Yeah.
Yeah, hit as many as you want. Okay, cool. I got you.
Yeah. What was your first year at the Smoky?
Oh Lord, 1981.
1981.
Yeah, I think it was 1981, the first year we came down here, and that was either first or the second year, but I'm pretty sure that was the first year with our nationwide advertising team. And we had a fantastic team. And we were ranked like number 2 all year long behind Howard's. And then we came here, and we got beat on the opening night by a team out of Minnesota. And then we played a team called Coppers on Saturday morning around noon. And we played them on a field that's around the corner over here. They don't use it anymore, and I'm not sure it's there, but it was called Pole Climbers. And it was 275 feet of fence.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know what field you're talking about. Bradley Jones getting into that one 3 in a row here.
There's a guy with some extreme bat speed, strength, all of it. Bradley Jones.
One of the first games I announced a few years ago, I want to say it was the year that he entered the conference with Sports Reach and then finished the year with Dan Smith, and I was just flabbergasted. Tyler Irvine's going to ground that one to the shortstop. That'll be an out. But I was flabbergasted at the talent level. I'm a big cut swing guy, not an uppercut guy, and he cuts the ball everywhere, and you could see the talent, you could see him figuring it out, like how he was going to, he knew he couldn't hit a home run every time, especially when he was playing A with Sports Reach, and just the progress over 3 years. And I called it then. I said 3 to 5 years, this guy might be the best all-around player in softball, and I think he's rapidly climbing the ranks here.
Right, he's right there now, and he's only going to get better.
Yeah. Tyler Marshburn's going to blow that one out of here as well. But yeah, he's only going to get better for sure. He's improving every year. I want to say, I was looking at stats earlier this year. I know he's hitting somewhere in the 780 neighborhood. Because Caton's going to miss that one. Might be the third out. Nope, second out. Because Austin's still walking up there. But yeah, I can't say enough good about Bradley Jones. In the year they won, I think the year they won majors that you were down there with your friend from All-American Restoration, he was playing shortstop.
Yeah, he could have been.
Which
very well could have been. I mean, he's got great hands. He's got great hands.
Yeah, playing left field now, but you can put him a lot of spots.
He could play anywhere.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you, when he swings the bat so hard and with so much torque. And I've got a couple of pictures that DW has taken of him, and he's actually off the ground with both his feet. He's torquing and twisting so hard that both his feet come off the ground. It's like,
yeah,
I just wonder I wonder where that one went.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen those pictures either. I would love to see him, but he's got that close stance, and just it's so late and quick to the ball too. The hands are quiet, and then he just absolutely opens up those hips when he wants to and just explodes on it. It's incredible.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Going back to when I played here in '81 with our nationwide team, it was really something to remember because we got beat the first game, and then we played a team called Coppers on that Pole Climbers field. And they were a team from Tennessee, and you never even ever heard of the guys.
Yeah.
Well, they beat us like 52-20. Now, we were the #1 team in the country, spent all this money, we got our brains beat in.
Yeah.
because they were hitting home runs 280, and we were hitting ours 350. But they hit a whole lot more of them 280 home runs than we did 350s.
That had to be.
And it was about 100 out that day too. What's that?
That must have just, I don't know. It's just one of them things where they just must have got amped up and got the adrenaline going to compete with you guys there. It must have been awesome to watch. And I mean, a 280 home run back then too. I don't think there was a conversion rate for it, but it's a 280. I mean, that wasn't a gimme back then, was it? Or were you guys using good enough balls to do that?
Oh no, we were using good balls, and they were hitting line drives. And so we said, well, we're going to come off the fence and try to steal some line drives, the coach says. And then they kept hitting it over our heads and hitting it over to the fence. So we said, well, let's go back to the fence. We couldn't do nothing right. And the thing that on top of it all will be like it is this weekend's going to be a smoke. It's going to be hot here this weekend.
Yep.
That year we played, I think it was 104.
Wow.
So this is a tough tournament for conditions, for athletes to see how good a shape you really are in by playing here in this tournament.
Yep, staying in the winner's bracket is huge. It was muggy, it was so muggy last year too, and it rained a little bit here and there, and it's just can absolutely take a toll. It's almost Florida-like, basically. It's still in the southeastern part of the United States, and it gets hot and muggy.
It's not going to change.
Yeah.
Yep, it's not going to change this weekend. It's 100 degrees. So.
Yep. With rain in we actually had rain in the forecast. I didn't know if we were going to get this game in, but it was supposed to rain for like the whole 3 hours basically leading up to the game. Let's see who we got here. Josh Kirsten. Go ahead. Sorry, Mike.
No, I said good thing it didn't rain so you get the game in.
Yeah.
Field looks, like I said, the field looks great. And the ground crew here in Maryville, they're the best in the country. I've been everywhere. I played everywhere and seen them all. But the Maryville Parks and Recs, the ground crew, are the best in the business. Believe me. I've seen them. They do it. It's they're ready right now. If something was coming, if it came and rained, and I mean poured, I guarantee you, within 2 to 3 hours, we'll be back on this field.
I got to see that firsthand. I know exactly what you're talking about. I got nothing but respect for the Maryville ground crew, and I wish I could remember the guy's name, but there's a guy that does it too. That he's been doing it since he was like 12 years old. They bust their hump. They're at the field. They're the first ones at the park and the last ones to leave each night. They're doing it on no sleep. So absolutely a huge shout out to those guys. They take care of these fields. They want every game to be as beautiful as they can.
Yep.
So we get Kevin Bazak. That one's going to be outside. Have you ever, Kevin's swinging here. That one's up to the right side. Looks like it's going to carry out for him. He's also off to his, I want to say he's having his best offensive year ever. He's somewhere in that 740, 750 neighborhood. Good to see him blowing out of here. Did you ever lead a Smoky Mountain Classic in home runs?
Oh, yeah. I was fortunate enough to lead a couple of times. Yeah, we always played. There was never no unlimited home runs or anything like that there. But
right.
The one year, there was 3 guys tied with home runs. As a matter of fact, it was 4. One was Crusher, one was myself, one was Freddie Trice, and one was Tim Reinhardt. And going into the championship game, we all had 21 home runs. I made the last out for our team in the top of the 7. Freddie Trice had 21 home runs too. He didn't get a chance to bat.
Yep.
So I made the last out. And then Howards came to plate. I don't know if he knew or not, but the first batter was Tim Reinhardt. He had 21 home runs. And he come up and he punched the ball back to right field. And I just looked at him like, why did you do that? So I knew that he didn't know that he had 21 home runs. The next batter was Crusher. Okay? Craig Elliott knows the deal with everybody who has what in home runs. Craker looked at the crusher, and he said, "Crush, go on down to first base." There goes a shot.
How mad was Crusher?
Oh, he was kicking the dirt, and he says, "You know what I'm hitting for, don't you?" And Craig says, "Yeah, I know what you're hitting for." He goes, "I'll roll you 4 if you want me to." And he just walked down to first base. We win the game. Freddie Trice got the gold trophy because he had the less at bats.
Yep.
And Craig didn't want to see Howards get that because, you know, that's the kind of player Craig was, a team player. But Crusher, yeah, he believe me.
He was
If there was
mad.
ever a time you'd want to fight somebody, that would have been a dime.
Ryan Harvey stepping up now. Also saw earlier Ryan Harvey, and I know it's with less games, but I believe he's leading the country in home runs right now, somewhere in the 80-something range. He's going to send that one way out to center.
Oh, yeah, no, he's having another good year. He's another, I mean, a very powerful hitter. He's your, you know, one of your top 5 gunners, one of your top 5 hitters in the country for the last 10 years, 8 years. He's been doing the job for a while.
Yeah, he is. It's hard to believe how long he's been around now at this stage, because it seems like yesterday was when he was kind of bursting onto the scene, and remember when he was playing major with some of those Bachman Louisville Slugger teams and just tearing it up. Jason Matusik sends that one right center there to the tennis courts.
There's another guy, Jason Matusik, great hitter. You know, with Ryan, the thing about it too, also, he keeps himself in good shape. He really does.
Phenomenal.
Yes.
It's Greg Cadell, another home run for him, getting way out here to left field, going to bring up a former teammate of his, Bubba Mack.
Yep.
But yeah, Harvey is, he's such a nice human being too. He looks so scary and he's nice, but he is. When you walk up to him in person, you know, you can just see what a phenomenal athlete he was. And I know he was, I want to say he was a top 10 first-round pick for the baseball draft. So that's the caliber of athlete you get in today's game as well. And, well, not even just today's game, just to bring up one of your former teammates, Scott Burkus, you know, played in the NFL, and then he was playing center field for Steels. So. Oh
yeah, no, you get some phenomenal athletes in the game of softball. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah. It's Bubba Mack unloading to the left side. That one's up into the trees.
Oh yeah, Bubba can hit him a long way.
I was surprised. Were you surprised to see him leave Rosmondo at all? You know, he's been there so long. It was kind of one of those things you're rooting for him to finish out his career there. But
well, you know, I guess you could say I was a little surprised because I had known him as Bubba Mack playing with Rosmondo, like you said. And you know, but with the game of softball, it seems like every 3, 4, maybe 5 years, you know, teams will have runs, you know, and they're like unbeatable for 4 or 5 years, and then, you know, sometimes you got to make a move just to break up the monotony, just to throw some new blood a different way. And you know, when he did that, you know, I just said, hey, you know, you're going to have to find somebody to take his position, and you know, just keep moving on, and you know, like I said, I was surprised when he did it, but he's been doing fine.
oh yeah, for sure. Another fantastic year. As Travis gets into that one. That one's out the left field, but you know, Bubba Mack, for as much praise as he obviously gets and stuff like that, it's almost like it almost still feels like he's not as appreciated as much as he should be, because he's played a killer third base for a decade. You know, well, actually, I remember him running left field some of the early years. I remember him running left field out there for Rosmondo at the Major World Series and the big fields even. And but I mean, you look, I go in deep dives, you know, and I like to look at career numbers and stuff, and I can't remember what his are, but like you just year by year, it's every year, you know, it's 725, 740, 730, you know, a bunch of home runs, a bunch of RBIs, and a lockdown third base. Kirsten's gonna ground that one to short, hustling up the line a little bit. He'll be out there.
Nice play. Nice play. And a lot of those years, you know, to me, I feel like he's a clutch player. You know, he gets it done when in a tough situation.
There's never a moment too big for him. He's nervous on the inside a little bit, you know, but I mean, you see him in the box and it doesn't even matter. It looks like every at bat's the same for him. You know, he's just like, all right, here I am, and we're gonna do whatever the plan is this at bat, you know, and he's can't praise him.
That's it.
Enough.
You would never know if he was nervous. You would never know it.
No, you can't tell at all because he looks so calm and never looks like there's a nervous hitch in his swing, anything like that. Maybe there was back in the day. I would have to go back and watch tape, but you know, today's Bubba Mack certainly feels no moment. Kevin Bazat blew one out right there. We're going to get back to the top here with Josh Riley.
Yes, he did. That's 2 in a row there for Bazak. So.
Yep.
Next up, Josh Riley.
Bazak getting it going. I haven't even said the score here. It's 12 across in the inning here for the Legends. They've taken a 6-run lead, 18-12. So we got it on the scoreboard here too. But
yep.
Pitch from Rod. Riley might have a knuckle in or a little topspin maybe. It's going to get down. It'll be caught for an out.
Oh, that ball went out there quick.
Yeah, I can hear it a little bit every time I hear a swing. I can hear it. It sounds good off the bat. So I knew this ball would be good. I mean, it was Southern California in December, so it wasn't cold, but you know, we got good air and good conditions, and the ball was flying. So I know that this weekend I expect high game scores and a lot of home runs.
Yep, that's what you want. Is softball players are a little bit peculiar when it comes to the sound of softballs.
They are.
You know, if the ball hasn't got that good click to it,
right?
You know, right away it's like, oh man, this ball's not all that good, or this ball's this, or this ball's that, and it's like, you know, guys, you shouldn't be judging by the sound, because you can hit 52-300 ball as far as you can hit them other balls. You just got to hit it with more finesse, put a little bit of spin on it, and that ball will carry just as far as anything. But when you get to the 40 core 325s and the 44 375s, that pop, that hardness, that compression, that's what guys want to hear. And as long as they hear that, they'll be happy.
Yeah, what I agree with, you know, it seems to be a common misconception with 52-300s, but I've always told people the same thing, is that you just need to generate backspin with those, you know, and they'll carry. I used to take BP with his name's Mike Rama. He's played in conference a little bit here and there, on some A teams, won A Worlds last year with Anarchy, and you know, I used to take BP with him all the time, and we used 52-300s because we didn't want to break bats. And you know, I watched him hit 52-300s 400 feet all the time. You know, and it was just because he knew how to get backspin with it. So, but are you anti 52-300 at all? Ball seems to be a big topic these days. You know, we're all like, we've had multiple segments on Hit and Sit about balls. You know, they're always coming up on the Old Scout message board there. You know, do you got a ball opinion? Tell us what you think about 52-300s. And do we have too much ball right now in the conference?
Right. You said, am I anti 52-300? Right?
Yes.
Is that what you said?
Yes.
Well, when I played,
Rod Armerson in that one. Go ahead.
You know, I'm not going to complain about the ball. And if there was any complaining about the ball, I always felt that I was going to hit more home runs. If somebody starts complaining about the ball being shitty, crappy, or whatever, and then I guess that means more for me, because I felt like I could hit anything out. And so if you put it at plate and you're thinking about that ball like, man, I'm not so sure if I can hit this, that problem's already. Okay?
Right.
But I'm not anti 52-300. No, I think the 52-300 is a great ball, as well as the 40 core 25s. You know, you have different cores for different associations, and you know, then they start making the bats to try to meet the cores, and you know, it's just the way that we're at it. 2023, it's technology. There's a lot of it in the game of slow pitch softball. So, no, I'm not anti 52-300. I like hitting 52-300s just as much as hitting any other ball. So.
Yeah, big fan. And as
Yes, and the
I
52 300s, like you said, will not. They'll be easier on your back.
yeah, I've always been a 52 300 in VP guy. We always did that back home, and I did that out here and
Yep.
stuff, just because the bat, like you said, the technology has changed, and some, I don't know, sometimes you just get one of those weird bat. I would say honestly, for the most part, a lot of the bat companies have gotten the durability issues figured out, because that one's line drive by Phil Matt off the glove of Bubba Mack, gets out to the outfield there. But I forgot where we were going with this. But yeah, the balls have changed, the equipment has changed, and they
Yes.
kind of got to catch up with each other a little bit, and USSSA has made adjustments almost, not almost every year, but they are open to trying new things and stuff like that, and they keep fiddling with compression a little bit here and there. So we'll see how it keeps playing out.
Sure. But when you take all the, take the game today after 35 years, when the bats got to be to the point, and that wasn't until into the late 80s when they really started bringing out some really different product on the bat side. The bats would be to the point where they were getting to be too good. And one of the things that they would do then is that you could control the balls. And the same thing with the balls and the bats, vice versa. If the balls get to be too hot, then they're going to dummy down the bats a little bit to match that. I mean, the bats and the balls have got to meet each other, match each other. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They talk about us using the big bats back when we played, but we use super light balls. Well, I don't think that they were super light balls, because they were 47 cores and probably 450 to 500 compression. That's a great ball for a bat that has, that's made out of 7000 series aluminum. So, they kind of like offset each other. And so today, the game, I think, is at a really good point with the balls that they use and how good these bats are. It's a great game right now.
Yeah, certainly lie, and the argument's always been that softball is an offensive game, right? And that seems to be what most people want to see. I'm in the minority. I'm a 52 300 lover. I would love to see that all the way around, but that's certainly the minority, and the ball flies right now, and it's still, at nighttime it gets a little crazy, but I would say that a lot of times the ball speed is relatively fair. Especially when you get to the hockey, like it is here, the conditions are going to affect the ball a little bit. So
Yes. Oh yes, there's no two ways about it. Can affect the ball. Especially when it's 105 degrees out. Like I said, I don't know what the temperature is today. But because of the way it is across the country with all these high heats, I got a funny feeling on Sunday around noontime, if they play then, I think they're trying to get the tournament over on Saturday night maybe, I'm not sure, but I guarantee you if they play on Sunday here, it'll be hot.
yeah, temperature there right now, I just pulled it up, 78 degrees, which isn't too bad, but it's still 80% humidity, so it's muggy there. Let me see, I got the bracket right here too. We are scheduled for a Sunday finish. Looks like, let's see, winner's bracket final game is Saturday at 7:30, and then championship game is scheduled for Sunday 11 a.m. So they will be playing at that high noon hour.
It'll probably be hot at that point. We'll have to wait and see. Back in, I think it was in 85. No, it was, matter of fact, 86. When we came to the tournament, there was 3 different balls for the tournament.
Yeah.
Today you have one ball that's picked and you're going to use it, right?
Yeah.
Years ago, everybody was trying to get in that ball business. The one year we came here, and there was the gold dot, there was the steel ball, there was the Dudley ball, and there was another ball that got thrown in the mix, and that was a McGregor ball. Okay? And those were considered RF-80 balls back then. Okay?
Yeah.
And on Saturday night or Saturday afternoon, all of the McGregor balls were gone. Okay? So that shows you that McGregor ball was a little bit hotter than all the other ones because you got your choice on what you wanted to hit in the game.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody wanted to hit that McGregor ball. So the next thing you know, there was none left.
That I can't believe they did that, because that seems like a weird thing, you know. And obviously there was some ball issues last year, you know, and they were inconsistent at this tournament. This was one of the tournaments that, hey, I think the diagnosed problem was some of the covers were like a little looser than others. So like when that happened, the ball wouldn't fly as good, you know, which isn't USSSA's fault at all. And
No.
you know, that's the balls that they had for that tournament, and so it just but that was a big topic of conversation among the players was the different balls and how hard that was to deal with. So I'm just surprised that guys went for that back in the day. Even I figured that would be something that people wouldn't like back then either. So.
Well, no, you might think that, but I remember because Joe Huff and Mr. Wilbanks, those were the guys that used to run the tournament before Chris. Chris is in charge now, and Huff was before him, Mr. Wilbanks before him. And then there's a guy by the name of Bradley, I believe. Frank Bradley was the actual beginner. He was the first Smoky Mountain person, you know, that ran the tournament, was in charge of the recreation at Maryville Parks and Recs.
Yep.
So, you know, that was back in 1974.
Yep.
So today, we're back in that year, 85, 84, because see, they were going through some ball changes. It was like in 1980 when they adopted RF-80 ball. So when they brought the RF-80 ball come in, then all the companies, Worth, Steels, Dudley, De Beer, they all made an RF-80 ball. So when we come to the Smokey, they would all send their balls in, be used. And that's the way it was for a couple of years.
Yeah. Different, little different than it is now, but interesting. You know, it's part of the evolution of softball and what guys were doing back then.
Oh yeah.
Because I think JoJo just hit a 3-run home run there. Bradley Jones back in the box. Sorry for the people that want the play-by-play. We're rambling like little girls here. Again, Mike Mashenko here joining me in the booth. Big Cat, conference legend as he's known. It's Bradley Jones.
We're just talking about the game here. That's all.
So Bradley Jones on there with a single. Tyler Irvine coming up here. Tyler Irvine's been another impressive guy for me in today's game. Had that monster year last year, broke the home run record. I can't remember what the exact number was, but it was ridiculous. Home run record for Conference USSSA. Correct me if I'm mistaken, do you have the all-time home run record for a single season? Which I know was kept track of a little bit differently back then. But with the Steel Tour, did you hit over 1,000 homers?
No, I didn't. I hit 844 home runs, and that was because I played 300 games. But I played every game. I didn't miss a game, didn't miss an inning. I started in February 14th and played until September 25th, and I didn't miss anything. So that was way back then. And there was a lot of things involved with that. You know, when they had the home run records back then, you know, it was how you hit them in this, how many you could hit in the season. And, you know, you had your exhibition games, which we were doing, traveling across the country, promoting the ball, promoting the game is what we were doing. So that was back then, and today it's a whole lot different. And, you know, some of the players out here today could have done what I did back then if, you know, they would have been playing with me back then. Or, you know, if somebody was to try and take the concept what we did back then and do it now, I believe it could be done. Somebody could hit that many home runs again.
I think it would be awesome if somebody actually tried it. I think people, I don't know how to say this really in a, I don't know what the right thing to say is here, but I mean, people now don't like playing different levels as much as they did back then. You know, back back in your day, from my understanding, it was get your berth for nationals, because you only, that whole states and nationals was different then. So you had to get your berth from states and go to nationals and make it to worlds, and once that was accomplished, it was go play the best tournament you can with the best competition you can, and now it's nationwide. It seems like teams like to just play teams in their own class, and that's what they want to do. So
Yeah,
even
no,
that, I think, in a
you
sense,
can't.
is vastly different.
And you can't blame them for that. I mean, it's like anything with the equipment, the balls, and everything else. Things change, okay? And so after all these years, I think the USSSA conference is the best thing going on in softball.
Yeah.
I wish that the ASA had something to match these guys like they used to. Years ago, 25, 30 years ago, it was ASA and USSSA. Now today, the ASA is not as they're as popular. They just don't have a format like this one that the USSSA has. The USSSA has the best thing going, and anybody can get into it. You put together a team, whether you're from Washington State, you're from California, Texas, wherever you're at, you can get in this conference. And that's what it's all about, is being able to play in there and give yourself a chance with your friends or with another team. But you want to try and play the highest level of softball one time in your life and see what happens.
Totally agree. I couldn't agree more with that statement. I've been privileged enough to play in a handful of majors, and there's absolutely nothing like it. There's nothing like the environment, just the whole culture they created with Conference USSSA, is outstanding. And they any tournament, there's a conference tournament going on, it's the best softball tournament in the world.
Yes,
and there's no doubt about it.
Nope, no doubt about it. And that's where you want to, guys say, well, Mike, how do I get involved with softball? Well, first off, you need to go to a ballpark where there's a tournament at.
Yes.
A tournament at where there's going to be some big teams. You gotta do a little homework, study, find out where they're playing at, and then get to an event. In some way, somehow, by the grace of God, you might be able to get a chance and say, hey, can I hit for you? Yeah, go ahead, take some swings. And you never know. Next thing you know, you're the number one hitter in the country.
Yep.
You just don't know. You gotta be able to take that opportunity. When that door opens, you gotta be ready to take it.
Yeah, and there's, even for people listening that don't play tournaments that much, because I know we're on YouTube here and Conference USSSA, or USSSAlive.com, excuse me, so we got quite a few viewers right now. And but yeah, there's all sorts of levels, and even when you go look at a lot of these guys' player histories, that are playing in this All-Star game, that are playing major AA and A, you go look at their roster histories, and it started at E and D for 98.7% of them. So you absolutely got to get involved, and plus think about, maybe tell us about that a little bit. Like, what were you? Because today you have the internet, so
right.
Like there's the internet, there's people that share things, there's all sorts of different softball outlets that have a variety of followers, and so it's a little bit easier to get your name out there. But where were you guys finding talent? Were you guys always watching lower level teams back in the day to see who was coming up? Like what was the standard there on a major team, even on a Steels?
Well, I know for a fact that a number of, like your better teams, they either had a coach or somebody involved with them that knew talent. They could see a ball player and be able to say to themselves or say to somebody, hey, we need to take a look at this guy. This guy, he could be something.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the first steps there is, like I said, getting somewhere where there's people with knowledge about the game can talk to you and give you a shot and say, hey man, would you like to hit for our team? Come try out at a tryout. And that way there you get a shot at playing at the top level. Or like these guys that have worked their way up. You got to give them guys credit that started out on a D ball club, and you worked from there to B, then you went from B to A, AA, and now you're playing with a major team best team in the country, and you're having fun. So the process, but I think just about anybody can do the process, depending on how far they really want to go. You got to know it in themselves, how far they want to go. Me, when I played, don't ask me why, but for some reason, I just wanted to be just like the other guys. I wanted to be like Craig Elliott and Bruce Meads and Joe Youngs and Mike Nyes, Ray Fleetwoods. I wanted to be like those guys. So I knew what I had to do was work at my game because I couldn't hit like them. And I could hit just as far, but not as consistency. When you play a team and a guy hits 5 in a row on you, you go, wow, that was pretty impressive. So
Right.
I learned that at a very young age.
Yeah, I think and you touched on it a little bit earlier, and you talk about getting to the ballpark and getting around people that know what they're talking about. And I always preach this, and I've set people up before in this scenario, but I think taking you got to go take BP too, and you got to go play games with those smart people that can tell you what's going on, and tell you how to better yourself, tell you what you need to do, these guys all got swings in the bag, like go-to swings and stuff like that. They're getting dialed in, and you got to go out and work on those things, and you got to set people up with smart people to go take BP and tell you when a good time to hit a home run is, when it's a bad time to hit a home run, and how to do it.
Yes, and that's why I say it's a totally different game than back in the 1970s, 80s, and 90s. And I think it's still as good as a game, if not better, because you're playing with the best equipment you could ever have. The athletes are the best athletes that you could ever have. No, you don't see no, as we used to say, you don't see no 300-pound catchers. Very, very few of them. You'll see a few of them, but not very many. The softball arena today is filled with great athletes.
Yes.
Bottom line. And so that's why I still say that, like right now, it's the best thing going. Go play in the USSSA conference. If you want to play softball, you want to play the best, that's where you got to go.
Yeah, I've talked about this a few times. I think on the Hit and Sit podcast, I even mentioned it. Like softball's it still seems like it's got it too, and I don't know why, but it seems like softball still has like this is like a old fat guy slow game stigma or something like that, and it couldn't be further from the truth. These guys are flying all over the field. The defense is insane. The shortstops are as good as anybody. And I just
you're right.
Even the parity in today's game. There's B teams. A couple of major teams got losses to B teams this year. And I think almost all the AA teams do. It's just everybody's beating everybody with this equipment in this game today, and it's because the athletes are so good. They might be a lower ranked team, but they're all good enough athletes to catch fire and beat somebody. And that's part of the joy.
Yes, it is. And if you are, like I said, you're a young player, you're wanting to learn, and you get hooked up with a team like Rosmondo, like Monster, like MPT, the top teams in the country today. You get hooked up with a team like that. You want to be all ears, listen, pay attention, and then when it's your turn to shine, you got to shine.
Which a number of people have done and continue to progress in this game. We've been rambling on it. What did they get here? So we got 29-19. Just give a little score update here. 29-19. The All-Stars actually on top of the Legends team. Legends put up just 1 run last inning, and the All-Stars put up 17. So they're batting here again. Phil Matt's going to line out there.
Well, it comes down to what we talked about before a little bit, is knowing when to hit the home runs, knowing when to hit the base hit.
Right.
And that is the most important thing with conference softball. The best softball in the country, you got to know when to hit, where to hit. And that's why I say that's a whole lot different than, getting 10 Craig Elliott's up there, Mike Masenko's, Bruce Meads, just get up there and swing away and hit home runs. This game is a total game today by the way that these guys hit these balls past the infielders, and the speed of the ball is coming out that bat so fast. And I watched it all year long, that it's hard to make a play on some of these balls. The guys are 10 feet back in the grass, and the balls are ricocheting off of them. Right?
Yeah.
So, you got to be back there, got to be ready, and if you can make the plays, that's great. But you've got to be able to do it all, be able to catch, be able to hit line shots at any time and any part of the ball field. And you do that, you're going to have fun playing the game today.
Yeah, that would be, I would say that's obviously the biggest difference from the 80s and 90s, to now is we had, and it's oddly enough, this all actually came up today in normal conversation for me. I was talking about it with my dad and my brother, but those home run limits came into play in the late 90s with the, with Slowpitch attempting to get on the Olympics. So it was just, it was a totally different game. Were you when you were taking BP back then? I mean, I know there was a lot of base hitters in softball, still at that time, but how much were you personally working on base hitting? Was that something you worked on, or were you just hitting home runs?
I'm sorry, don't get mad, but I gotta laugh because I really never, and I'm being honest, and I never really worked on base hits because I swung the bat so hard, and I tried to groove my swing, not for home runs, not for line shots. I grooved my swing so that I made contact at the right spot every time, and wherever the ball went, the ball went. I could sit there and hit 10 home runs in a row. They'll say, "Boy, you're on it." I said, "Well, I'm not doing anything different. I'm just trying to hit it as far as I can." Yeah. And by swinging that way, if it went over the infield, it was usually a double. I never stopped at first base, so you're on second base. So you play the game that way. And today, you just can't swing away because of the rules. So back then, did I work on any base hitting? No, me myself, no. If I took batting practice, 200 swings, it was 200 swings to try them into the parking lot. And that was that's just the way that it was back then. And by being involved with the right people too that want to perfect the game. And the one guy, as you talked about, knowing talent, and it's true. Mr. Neal knew talent as good as anybody, if not better than anybody. And he could see a player, and the guy might go 0 for 5 in a game, and he'll say, "Man, we need to get him." And I'd say, "Really?" He'd say, "Yeah." Next thing you know, we pick him up, and the guy was unbelievable. So by having the right people involved in a game today that know players that can find a player and say, "Hey, we need to give this kid a chance," that's good too.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there for sure that can see that kind of stuff, and I know exactly what we're talking about with people that can see the people having a bad game but know he's still got the talent, right? And that's
right.
That sort of thing is just so important to have, and it's still, even from another standpoint too, just you got to get out and play in front of those people if you want to be seen and you want to get in the conference like that. You got to play as much as you can, play every weekend that you can, travel as much as you can. I know financially that comes into play, and especially what level you're at, whether you got a sponsor paying for things or not, but absolutely got to get out there and enjoy this game. Travis Clark going to unload on that one.
When we talk about this field, back in say 1980, the left field fence out there was partially chicken wire. It's like a chicken wire fence that went up along an old black telephone pole. It was probably about 25, 30 foot high, that thing was. Yeah. And you had to hit it. If it hit the screen, because there was a fence there, like where it is now, and the screen was attached to it. And if it went above the yellow line out there and hit the screen, it was a home run. But I seen Ronnie Ford climb that fence halfway to the top and catch a ball to end the game. And I'll never forget it because it was against Howard's, and it was like 104 out. And I just sat there. I was mesmerized. I said, "Wow, that might have been the greatest play I ever saw."
Might still be the greatest play of all time.
I'm telling you, back then the field was a little bit different, but still. And the other thing about the Smokey, which makes it so special, is the people, the fans that come out here, and they treat the softball players like they're major league ball players. You know, they want autographs. They want to just sit and talk with you. You know, they want to buy you a beer. They want to take you to the Waffle House. I mean, they're really, truly some really down the home folks. And my wife and my family, and I'm sure half of these guys today, enjoy bringing their families down to Tennessee. It always was a great place to be.
As we see Josh Riley here at the plate. This Legends team trying to crawl back into this one right now. They have a jumping attempt. That'll get out of here, though. So Legends team here, quick game update for you guys. Legends team here pulling to within 7. Second batter here, Kyle Pearson, Collins, Harvey, and Matusik behind them.
Kyle Pearson stepping in.
Yep, here they go again.
2 outs in the inning. Look like we might have a little bit of a runaway, but Legends crawling back into this one. Rod Iron, we're keeping them at bay.
Well, they're really not trying to hit base hits. They are trying to launch the ball out, and that's what it's. You know, that's what this is for, to have some fun and to swing away.
Yep. Absolutely.
And if you miss it and you hit a one-hopper and you get thrown out, you know, it wasn't because you were trying to slap it by that guy. You were trying to launch it, and you just missed it. You know, you can't hit everyone out.
Here's Andrew Collins.
So Andrew Collins now.
Years ago, and that's been a long time now, but on Sunday, it's gone. You know, they catch that?
Oh, caught it.
Come down.
They didn't look like my little top spin on it.
On Sunday at noontime, they used to have the Tennessee walking horse would come here, and he would do that one song about Dixie or whatever. I forget what it was called, but that horse would run around this inside track for about 10 minutes. Yes.
Really?
I got video of it. The guys would just, you know, I says, guys, I used to tell my teammates, guys, I'm telling you, the most important thing this weekend is this. They go, what's that? I said, to be on that field on Sunday at noontime, and that Tennessee walking horse walks this field. You want to be here if you plan on winning. Yeah. That was the truth.
Oh, they got to get that one going again. I wonder why the walking horse went away.
I don't know. You know, that was a Tennessee walker that they brought here every year, and it was the same guy. The same guy would bring it. Everybody would just, you know, love it. Love it when he'd come here and people would come out and, you know, they wouldn't get too close to that horse. You can't. The horses are being nice, and if they kick you, you'll know it.
Yeah, for sure.
But the people loved it. Then they would have the left field stands over here, down in the corner where the weeping willow big trees are. You know, all the sponsors would have their little vans, their big vans, you know, selling their product. Just a great family atmosphere.
Yeah, definitely a softball bucket list item, for sure. If you're into conference softball, anything like that, just winner's bracket final on Saturday night is special too, because all the fans are there, all the players are there, you know, or everybody not playing anyway at least, and the crowd's huge. Irvine gets into that one. So another couple across there for the Smokey All-Stars. Daniel Caton getting set.
Yep. On Saturday night around 7 o'clock, that was always the time because you had two winter brackets on Saturday night, 7 and 9. And they usually always ran behind. It didn't matter. I don't care what time you start. You're always going to be late.
Right.
And
Well,
this place would be packed. Huh?
Well, you guys were having, I mean, they were like 80 to 70 games you guys were having at this, right? I mean, those games were 3 hours long, 3-4 hours long.
It all depends. We never really had no. Well, we had some 65s and 70s, but it all depends. And seriously, it all depends on the ball when you got here. If they had a ball that didn't travel as well, the games were down. The scores were lower.
Right.
If they were higher, then the bat ball was playing very well. Then the scores were higher. We played one time here when I was with Riches, and we were playing Lighthouse here on Friday night, and they were beating us by 19 runs. They're getting ready to run rule us, okay? And this boy, Ronnie Holden, come to the plate, and he says to me, I was catching, he says, Mike, it's over with, buddy. I said, not just yet. He goes, why? I go, you got a bat. The next pitch, he popped up in foul territory to Charles Wright behind third base. That was the third out, okay?
Yeah.
It rained right then, and I mean poured like cats and dogs, and you figured that either that game's going to be canceled or maybe the tournament could be canceled. That's how hard it was raining, okay?
Yep.
An hour later, they said we're going to start the game. And that's what I mean about the ground crew here. We came back and started that game against Lighthouse, and they're beating us by 19 runs. When we came back that first inning, and I think it was the sixth, we scored 40 runs. We run ruled them the next inning.
Wow.
So, how do you explain that, right? You're getting ready to get beat, and was God involved? Was the grace of God there for us, or what? I don't know.
I think it's just the magic of the Smokey, though. With that's what unlimited home runs can do for you. No lead's too big.
I'm telling you, we come back and we scored like 42 runs, and we win the game. So anything can happen at this park.
Yeah, magical. It's a magical little place.
Yes.
That was the first thing I told, when people asked me about going last year, they were like, what was it like? I just said it's magical, and it's tough to explain until you even go there, but just everything about it is just awesome. It's Austin Andrews unloading on that one.
Oh, yeah. Good swing right there.
So we are, top 5 here? We're actually getting into run rule territory at this point, because that's 2 more.
What's the run rule, 20?
20 after 4, 15 after 5.
Okay.
So we're in the 5th here. They got 2 outs, but they're up 12. They only gave up 5 runs last inning and 1 run the inning before, so they can go with 2, which they're not. So that just went right out the window.
Well, hey, they're out here playing for their fans, for the city, for everybody here, and, getting everybody in the right frame of mind for tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock when they start.
Yep. Should be, I know, is that what time it is? 10 a.m.? I was going to bring that up.
I think they start at 10 o'clock on Friday morning, yes.
Okay, yep. Local teams, looks like local teams are 10 and 11 here.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the first one. Is there any other first round games?
No, I think it's just them 2, and then they get into the...
Yeah, 10 and 11.
Right into the bracket.
Yep, 10 and 11, and then we get into the first round. So a couple playing games there. 10 a.m. starts tomorrow. We are playing the first 2 rounds, so should be some good action throughout there. Trying to look for maybe an interesting first round matchup here.
Yes, there always is. Like I said, this tournament, I remember when we're talking some years ago, but Smythe Sox was 56-0 when they came here.
Wow.
Yep.
What year was that? I remember I've seen pictures of the Smith Sox before, or Smythe Sox.
I think that was 19 either 86 or 87. 87, I think it was, because 86, I think they were still elite. In 87, they became Smythe Sox, and they had one hell of a team. They won the USSSA that year.
Yeah.
But when they came to the Smokey, they were 56-0.
Wow.
And they didn't go out winners because, luckily, my Steel's team, we played them, and we ended up beating them for the. As a matter of fact, we didn't beat them for the championship. I take that back. They got beat by Howard's. and then we played Howard's for the championship. And I even have, I think, a little bit of a video from that game with Howard's and Smythe Sox that night. And it's just amazing the people that were here. You know, it was just like, I don't know, it was one hell of a game. And Howard's won it.
Incredible.
I was looking at some pictures before, like in the era with the guys like Hank Garris, Jason Kendrick, J.C. Phelps, Rusty Baumgartner, Andy Purcell. You know, that era there, I mean, they had some fantastic games. The one, I sat here and watched it the one year late at night, it was like 65-66. You know, at like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Holy
you know
cow.
what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't go home. You got to stay there and watch it.
No, you absolutely cannot go home.
No. You know, and then, you know, like a team like Rismondo, you know, they won so many times here. It was kind of like automatic. So to win this tournament, you know, back in the day, like say 1975, I think it was, Ray Fleetwood and Kurt Smith were co-MVPs of this tournament. Back then, and that was when Nelson's Paints was one of the best, was the best team in the country at that time, with guys like, you know, these were just horses, Herman Rathman and Chick Downing and, you know, Mickey McCarty and Mighty Joe Youngs. They were just all big men that could play the game of softball.
Oh yeah, there's actually I can't remember who posted it, but there's a video from here in the late 90s. It's a Sierra TPS versus someone. I can't remember what it is, but that's a really good game with it. That's got some of those guys you were just bringing up. I think Kendrick's in that game, Baumgartner's in that game, Big Ticket might have been in that game.
You know, that era of players with Parnell and Darrell Beeler and guys I just named, you know, Kendrick and J.C. Phelps, Jeff Wallace, all those guys on them couple of different teams, Johnny McCraw, you know, Scott Brown. You know, the way softball has been, you know, it's like an era. It's like a time that these same group of guys are playing each other for, like, say, maybe 8 to 10 years. It's the same group of guys.
Yep.
Then they slide on down and the next group comes in. And today, your group is, you know, Brian Harvey, Kyle Pearson, Phil Matt, Magnum, all these guys that are playing today. This is like another era of ball players.
Yep.
And I hope that people can see it and watch it and be thankful of being able to play at this time. And then, you know, leave the game the way that you found it, a great game. Leave it as a great game for the next group that are going to come in and carry the torch for it.
The group of guys you just mentioned are, you know, and Riley and Cannell and all those guys, you know, they seem like a pretty classy bunch to me. You know, I don't know, you know, I'm not personally friends with a bunch of them. I'm not that guy, but they, you know, everybody seems pretty classy, and I hope they do leave it better than they found it, and I think that they will. You know, like we've been talking about the whole show, softball's in a really good place. The athletes are phenomenal. The parity amongst the game is incredible. You know, every class, you know, or every game, it almost doesn't matter what your classification is going into that game. You know, you got a shot to win, and I think that every team believes that too. They all want to beat the higher level team. You know, and you see that a lot. You know.
Well, like I said, as the players, you know, you go through the era, and these guys that are playing now, they're all good guys. They're all great guys. You know, like a Greg Cannell. Greg Cannell is like halfway of this era and halfway of the last era because he's been playing quite a while.
Yeah,
this
he's
Greg
a little
Cannell
bit.
kid has just been hitting home runs for 20 years.
Yeah.
You know, he does a real good job, and you know, and the majority of these players out here, because I've talked to them and get to see them, and I'm going to see them in at the end of July. They have the ASA the ASA, USA, that border battle, that is mostly, it's all the conference guys. We're going to play
Right.
the Canadians.
Right.
Well, it's going to be in Cleveland, Ohio this year, and so I'll be able to sit right there and watch these guys play some great softball. So
Yep,
I'm excited for Cleveland.
I heard it was in Cleveland this year. Is it at the same park that they used to have the Cleveland Major at? It's at that park, right? I forget what it's called, but I know my dad loved the fans there.
Well, the last time the USA team came through, they played a couple of exhibition games in Parma. Okay.
Right.
But the main place that we used to play, well, Parma was the main place too. For years they had the Worlds there. So 68, there was like 25 people watching the game, 25,000 at one time. But that's years ago.
Holy cow.
Yeah. And then we played at Brookside, and that's where they're going to have it at this year at Brookside down by the zoo. And they got this really nice baseball stadium that they built. The Cleveland Guardians ground crew helped take care of this thing. It's AstroTurf.
Oh,
It's
wow.
really laid out.
Sweet.
So it should be a great event. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. It's awesome. Well, it's awesome. It's right in your backyard there.
Yes, exactly. So I've been posting about it, trying to get the people that used to be diehard softball fans come out and get a chance to watch a big-time softball at its finest one more time.
Do you find it seems like a decent amount of people from your generation are still following the game, though? I mean, obviously not all the guys, but it seems like there's a decent amount of past generations still following today's game, which is awesome to see. Like I love that you're still watching all the conference tournaments, and you want to go and you want to hang out there. I think that's important for sports, and you see that in all the other pro sports, like when the old quarterbacks still coming to hang out at the facility, and stuff like that, and Chipper Jones and Ken Griffey Jr. are still hanging out at spring training, and I'm glad softball's got the same thing a little bit.
No, that's you're absolutely right. That is good stuff, and I enjoy it myself. I mean, I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't enjoy it. It's part of my DNA, and obviously in my system, in my blood. But I do enjoy watching the game of softball. Even when I quit playing after so many years, I enjoy watching a softball game, and it doesn't have to be this. I can watch a Class A team play. Watch anybody if it's a softball game. So I enjoy it, and that's why I think it's a great game today. And like you said, a lot of people that played back in the early 2000s, are still following the game today, and even in the 90s. It all depends on the person. But a lot of people still follow it, still want to be involved with it, and that's a great thing. I mean, it's a great game. It's always been a great game, and like I said, some of the guys that played back then are still watching it today. I hear from some of them, and we get them in the chat room there over at DW puts up the chat room at conferenceussa.com. There's a link to that right at the top, and I know some older guys stopping there every once in a while, and my dad's still playing, or not still playing, still watching and stuff like that. So I love to see that too. Why don't we reset the table here a little bit too? Looks like the top of the sixth here. Looks like we got a tie game here almost.
Yeah, I know. All of a sudden, we were almost at a run rule, and they're right back in it. Top of the sixth here, one down. All-Stars are leading by 3, 37-34. Tyler Irvine hits that one back through the middle.
See, that's something that I've noticed this year with a number of teams. The number of the top ones, Monster and MPT, and then you got the Proton teams, and you got all these different teams now that today you got 4 or 5 of them are right up there at that top. When they play in a tournament, anybody can really win. And then you got some teams like Competitive Edge that are down below. What's the other one? Chick-fil-A. Any of those, anybody can win any time when you step on a softball field. That's what I liked about the game, always. Now, when
Yeah.
you go and you play an exhibition game against some all-star team that is out there trying to promote the game with you, okay, well, you beat up on them, you're supposed to. But then you'll play a game in a conference here, and all of a sudden you're losing 19-2. It's like, you're the number one team in the country, you're losing 19-2. How can this be? But then that team, you know what I'm saying, and that team will catch fire. All of a sudden, the next thing you know, they'll have an inning, and it's like, 23-19 real quick.
Yep.
And I kind of like that atmosphere of the game when the teams get on rolls and they get 15 hits in a row.
Yep.
When a team has 2 outs, I always said this, a team has 2 outs and you're playing them, and you have 2 outs, and then you score 15, 20 runs, there's nothing more demoralizing than that.
No, I agree. Well, there's nothing more demoralizing, but it's almost if you, at the same time, it's still slow pitch softball. And I think
Yes.
even guys, like I always tell, like I've been in dugouts before that are, you get down 8, 9, 10 runs, and it seems like guys are hanging your head. And it's like, fellas, this is slow pitch softball. I mean, you're one inning away from being back into this thing. Like you're one inning away
That's
from
right.
taking a lead. Any of that. So I don't know. It's in a great spot for sure right now.
Yeah, yes, it is. And, guys, everybody works. You work hard all week, and it's like, wow, I can't wait till the weekend so I can get out there and play a little softball and have fun.
Right.
And there's nothing better than get out to the softball field with your buddies or with your teammates, and then you have that camaraderie, so that you're cutting up on each other, you're teasing each other, just being around your friends. I always felt that was the best times. And
Right.
I miss the guys that I played ball with. I miss them all. I wish we could just play softball for about 100 years. but it don't work that way. We get old, man. We get old.
Yeah, but I see the posts go around, and it seems like you're still in contact with quite a few of your teammates, or people from generations of past are still all communicating
Yes.
with each other on social media these days, and posting all the old pictures. And I know you post the old softball articles, and because softball used to be something that made the paper in lots of places, not just like we were talking about here with Maryville. It was
Yep.
so softball was kind of covered as a sport.
Yeah, everywhere in the country. And back when we used to play and travel, we had a publicist. His name was Jerome Ernest, and he would, when we went to a town to play an exhibition game or play a tournament, he'd have something in the newspaper about us.
Right.
And then when we left that town, he'd have something in the newspaper about you.
Right.
So, that was like that then, and it that's kind of faded away. But you have, one of the reasons being is what? Because of the internet.
Right.
When the internet wasn't here, every weekend I would take Jerome during the week. We were traveling, and he would put together newspapers at 6, 5, 4 in the morning. He'd work on it. I'd go pick them back up. He'd have 2 or 3 stacks of newspapers. We'd get to the ballpark, and the guys are killing each other to get to this so they can read their name in there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
That was serious.
Yeah.
So then the internet came about, and that kind of like all faded away, because now you can just click on your computer and you can see the stats, you can see what's out there. So the game has changed along, with the newspaper disappearing in the whole scheme of things.
Right. Yeah. Everything just moved to the internet. It's just
Yep.
print media. You wouldn't even need a publicist anymore to call the newspaper. You can just put it on the internet yourself.
That's it. I believe Travis Clark just went deep. There's a guy that's been playing lights out all year long for Rismondo, and that's Travis Clark. He pitches, he hits, he does it all, and he's got to be hitting right around 800, if not higher.
Yeah, I was looking. He's right in that 750 range for sure. When I was looking earlier, he's
Yes.
having another fantastic year. He's another one of those guys like Bubba Mack. You know, we were talking about. You can just year after year, it almost gets undervalued because it's the same. And
Right.
you get accustomed to it. But it's year after year. Travis hits above 700. He goes out there and pitches a great game, and every team he's on every year has a shot to win the Major World Series. Well, not just a
You
shot. I
can.
mean, Travis has racked up a bunch. I forget what the exact stat is, but I think Rismondo has won close to like 10 of the last 15, somewhere in that range, something like that. So,
Oh yeah. It's really ridiculous numbers that that you have won that many, but it's not. It's on paper, man, and they've had that kind of a run, that kind of a team, that kind of a program. So you gotta appreciate stuff like that.
while we're on this, actually, we should have got to this earlier, but you were talking about traveling around with them a few years ago, quite a bit, and going to the tournaments. So I mean, you got to see Brett close up. Just talk about Brett as a manager. And what does he
Oh,
do to
Brett
get these
Helmer.
guys ready? Like, yeah, what. So it
Well,
almost seems like the Patriot way, right? Like it's almost like
sure.
Bill Belichick and the Patriot. You never hear anything bad coming out of there. There's never any stories about players on Rismondo. Like it seems to be some people other
No.
places. It's just that is a tight knit ship. And just describe it a little bit for us.
Well, it's one of the reasons is because uh, Brett wants those guys to act like he does, and that's respectful of the game.
Right.
You don't want people bitching or complaining about certain things. You want to, be a professional about the game, and that's the way he carries himself. And the rest of the guys on that team try to carry themselves like that. You know what I'm saying? They play as a very close group of players. And don't get
Right.
me wrong, the other teams do, but Brett has an aura about him because of how great of a ball player he was. See, that comes into play.
Right.
When you say, well, that's Brett Helmer, man, he's done it all. He's the best there is. So
Right.
you respect what comes out of his mouth. You respect what he says. If he told you to go over there and, hey, man, I hate to do this, but I need somebody to clean that latrine over there. Can you take care of it for me? I guarantee you, a guy will do that for him because of so much respect. All right?
Yep.
And that's the respect that those guys have for him. And then, and not only him, the guy that used to coach him, Frank Webb, great guy.
Yep.
His wife, Cheryl, she's still involved. Great person, great people. You got Travis, who's been involved all these years. You got a great lineup of sponsors over there with Eddie Minosi, Rick Schiffauer, Jimmy Thurman from All American. You got Scott Sunderland, you got RDD. Can't think of that person. That's John. But they're all good people that put this together. Their coaching unit, Pete Campbell, and then the other guy, Jeff Barnes, the coach. So those guys are. I'm not just saying it. I'm not blowing smoke. These guys are first-class people. So it doesn't surprise me that they play and win like they do. And then when you got somebody who's in charge of it, you got to have somebody, that's going to be like Dwight D. Eisenhower, who's going to be in charge. That's Brett Helmer. And that's
Right.
kind of like the way he handles that whole situation over there.
Yeah, and well, like you said, it's easy to respect him because of his accomplishments, right? Like he's
Yes.
been there, he's seen it all. He's got a wall named after him in Florida because he hit it over it so many times. Helmer's Wall, we all know about that.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and I would like to point out too that just like you said, like he's got Travis there, and he's got guys play there for a long time. When you come to Rismondo, it's almost like you're going to be there for a while because those are the type of guys that he gets a lot of times. So you got guys setting the tone, like, hey, we listen to Brett, we follow Brett, do you
Right.
fall in line here? And so they just
A good line for that is the one that Jimmy Thurman likes to say, and that is winners are winners. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
right.
You're a winner, you're a winner. Simple
Right.
as that. And it's like the Rismondo, the whole thing, whole entourage of that team. The whole history of them. It's winners are winners. They've been winning Because I looked it up one day and I said, man, I think it's like 1995 when he sponsored his first softball team in Florida. And I said, he's been around 30 years
Yeah.
sponsoring teams. You know, how do you find people like that to sponsor softball teams for 30 years? You know,
can't.
those
You
are
can't.
once in a while. No,
Yeah.
you can't. Those are once in a lifetime people that get involved with something. They get their life together where they're able to be involved with softball. It's carrying their name. Jeez, what else could you want?
Right.
So-
Yeah, I always tell people that to thank your sponsors and thank them more than you
Yes.
think you should.
Yes.
You know, thank them every tournament, because even though you might think you sound stupid or annoying or whatever, you know, it's just a little thank you goes a long way with those guys. And you know, there's for most people, you know, I guess back companies will get a return to some degree, you know, and stuff like that. But a lot of these people, like Travis Rismondo, aren't getting a return on the money that they spent. You know, this is a
No.
passion, this is a for love of the game thing, you know, and I don't even want to know what the total number is he spent between 1995 and now, because I know it's astronomical. But you know, it's just
Oh, yeah.
always thank your sponsors, no matter how big or small they are, no matter what they're giving. You know, 10,000, 5,000, 100,000, I don't care. Gotta say thank you to those
And you-
guys, because without them we literally don't have this. You know, they're
No.
at that point the best softball you have is probably a B regional program type deal. You know.
You know, and then you have all your different companies and everybody fighting and battling and doing this and trying to have the best product. But when it all comes down to, I always said this, and I believe it's true, is the number one thing in softball has kept this game the way it is because of egos. People could argue with me or whatever they want to, but egos was the name of the game back in the day when the Howards and the Nelsons playing back in the day. They wanted to be number one. There was
Right.
only one sponsor, so it was his money. So them
Right.
guys used to have them egos, man. They wanted to be the best.
Yeah.
And so that I don't believe that ego has changed any today. It's, you know, like you said, you don't get much back from it like you did back then, but there's still that ego that pushes you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The ego and competitiveness absolutely drives these guys. You know, you almost got to be in the nicest way. I mean this in a good way, right? You almost got to be dumb enough to think you could be the best, right? Because you got to have that confidence and you got to believe in yourself.
That's
to that
right.
level.
That's right.
But so wrapping it up here, looks like the Smoky Mountain Legends have held off the All-Stars. They're going to come back and win this one 39-38. Mike, I want to give the website here a quick plug. I just put it up on the screen for us. Can you give us the address
Okay.
for that? Your website here?
Oh, that is it's www.mikemasenko.com.
Mike, yep. MikeMasenko.com. If you're interested in the history of softball at all, he posts a ton of stuff up on here. You can see some of the old pictures of the Steels teams that we've been talking about, everything like that. But wanted to give you a website plug. Look, you can email them up here, talk to the big cat all by yourself. But Mike, I can't thank you enough for joining me here. Appreciate you giving us your time. Appreciate everything you've done for softball. And I hope we can do this again sometime.
My pleasure, buddy. You have a good weekend. I'm just going to sit here tomorrow and watch a few games and enjoy it.
All right, sounds good. Thank you very much, Mike. I will talk to you soon, and stick around because we got the Home Run Derby coming up next. Thank you, Mike.
Okay. Thank you.
It's on mute. Take it all the way up.
Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you'll bring your attention to home plate. Pam Bradley will be awarding the MVP of the charity game here. And that person is Kevin Buzzat. Come on down, Kevin. the Frank Bradley Memorial Home Run Challenge. How this will work is we will go position by position, player versus player, 5 swings, 1 take. So the first 2 hitters will be Travis Clark and Rod Armour.
I would just tell them, I would tell them.
Talent. Are they going to pick their own pitcher? What's that?
It's winner versus winner. It's not a total head-to-head point.
It's a point. No, the team that wins gets a point. Whoever has a few points wins.
Corny is the tiebreaker. Is the tiebreaker AP versus normal? Is that the tiebreaker?
That would be me and DW.
You won that.
You just had to make contact first.
I just want to make myself look good.
You against him.
Oh, hell yeah.
You don't want to.
Mike Manning against.
Why? If it's Manning, I'm out. He's number 1 in the country.
He's perfect.
Can't go against him. First double Andy Rod, he's number 1.
He just don't make outs.
Pitcher putting this thing on.
They're the one position.
So Eric McCarthy here again. Let me dip back in quick just to let you guys know what's going on here. So this is going to be a home run derby right now. It is a position versus position battle. So each batter is going to get 5 swings. You get 1 take, and then the winning side gets a point for their team. So it's like match play in golf, just so you guys know. So just wanted to come on quick and let you know, again, position versus position, 5 swings, you get 1 take, so 6 total pitches per batter if necessary. And then a point will be given to the winning side. So it's like match play. So whoever wins here between Travis Clark and Rod Armour is going to get a point for the team, and then obviously the team with the most points at the end is going to win. So again, stick around, appreciate that, and enjoy the home run derby.
That should be double points.
I want to reconsider the MVP.
Yeah, he's got to move back 3, 4, 5. You know what we need is some umpires. Where's the umpire? We need umpires. Fair 5.
3? We can't tell from here.
I mean, I'm looking through this.
We're robbed though.
I'm looking through this. Brian, you need umpires for fair 5.
Just turn it up a little bit.
furthest ones you ever hit
Hey,
in your life?
you're one-liner limit tonight. Kyle Pearson, Kyle Irvine on deck. And Connie and Marshburn.
Good job, buddy.
Was that last?
One take, you got a way to go.
Oh, he's going to sound rich.
Corn dog. He's up
Piece of cake. Attack? Yeah, go ahead. Connie Marshburn on deck. One take, Tom. Connell Marshburn.
They should pick. That's a good one. I'm going to throw that at Barnesy. Their guy didn't show.
Marty, who's going next? Short or middle?
What's that?
Middle?
Is that JoJo?
Is it 96 over?
Zach, JoJo, Williams and Matt on deck. Williams and Matt on deck. Can't you go with Bubba? Get you down a little bit. It's my list, bro.
Going by numbers. Position. Going by position.
Hey, come on, hand me a lift.
The middle's 10, so we get 10.
You're gonna get the hit, don't worry. My money's on JoJo. Gotta beat two, JoJo.
Come on, JoJo.
John Williams, Phil Matt on deck.
Did we tap one or not? Yeah. Yeah. You sure?
I'm only going by number. We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later.
get ready. We're about to go head to head.
Oh. Matusik. Jones. Moose. Josh Kirsten. Austin Andrews on deck.
Fans, the souvenir t-shirt tent is about to close down here pretty soon. If you want a t-shirt this evening, you might want to drop by pretty soon. Pick one up. They will be open again tomorrow and Sunday as long as they are available. But stop by pretty soon and pick one up before they close down. Thanks. Just reminded this is Thursday, so the t-shirt and souvenir booth will be available all day Friday, all day Saturday, and as long as the souvenirs are available on Sunday. Stop by soon.
back Jake's spot.
No doubt.
That's what we were just talking about. We're a lot cooler when we were in Colorado.
I think I might be able to work the first weekend. I don't know. I haven't got a full USSSA today.
Yeah.
Where have you been?
No.
Have you been here?
I've been here. You've been down here. Nelson, just out there. Ray Moffin Jr. down here.
First of all, let's get a microphone to work.
You know what?
You heard one verb. It's because I was yelling. Thanks. Thanks, Joe.
Chad, what's been going on?
Joe? Jerry Callens is referee. Ryan Harvey, Austin Dahl. Jason Magnum. Kyle Center. Some dude named Magnum. I never heard of him.
We get CB pizza. I'm sorry. Small.
These right here, those right there are good.
This is
I gotta go out and get mine and wash it.
with this color of wine.
That's what I told Sing. I told Sing we were coming. Come over and he does. Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right. So you'll be on their main channel? Yeah. On Friday and Thursday nights? Australia.
Some of that AD.
I can learn, buddy. I can learn. Sing was in it, and Mike and Robert Moore. We get 3 this time. It's line, referee, lineman, and then a clock.
You might be better than that if you're trying to go against me. Ah, your ass in trouble, boy.
We should have just mocked
You want me to go get a dugout? Leave me alone. I'm going to get a dugout and leave you alone if you want me to. Throw the damn man a strike, Robo. You see what he does when you throw him a strike. You gonna count that?
17.
You 7. That'd be entertaining.
That is kind of easy. Oh, Travis is killing me up here. Marty, you see this?
Get a tape.
I get a tape? I already took it, the first one.
Oh, that's tough.
Come on, man, still take a picture. Let him run the derby. Take a picture. I see what it is.
You'll be happy about it.
Barnes and Clifton. Three for 5. Barnes and Clifton. OGKP and Porter on deck.
There's 2 times.
Well, you got to try someone's So that's going around the pole, that was going right forward. Talent. So you're breaking up. Sorry. My bad. Anybody? Yes. Yes, bring it down here, Steven. Do what now? Yeah, go ahead and bring it down here to me. That'll be great. I'm on 6%. Down to 25.
Clark and everyone from the Smokies for having us. All the players here for coming out from the Legends team and the Stars team. All our sponsors for the event, DeMarini, Wilson, Louisville. And we'd like to thank the family of Frank Bradley for allowing us to do this in his honor with his name. And that being said, we'd like to call his daughter Pam out here to award the home run champions this year to the Legends team of the Smoky Mountain Classic. 8-3. Let's get a team picture taken with. Can we get a group picture taken with the trophy? And then we're going to get a group picture taken with everybody. Everybody, one dog. And everybody in. Everybody in for a group picture.
All right, you got an airbrush.
Okay, we got to get a picture of the whole team in with them.
Okay. Let me get out of this. We'll do it. Okay.
You're good right there. You're good.
1, 2, 3.
He's taking a video.
Awesome. Thank you very much, man.
Get back in there, Brett.
Man, get back in there.
Helmer, get back in there. Here we go. We're good.
We're going to get a big group picture. Get in there with that, and then we're going to get a team picture. Then we're going to get a big group picture of everybody. 1, 2, 3. Keep holding.
Don't move.
Want to get everybody together, both teams?
Good.
Now everybody else in there, can we get both teams together?
DW, can you spin over both teams? Oh, they're that tired. I can get it.